This is the Wrestling Replay. I'm Cato. Welcome to episode number 13. We had a really good week of wrestling, really good weekend, and looked like we have a lot that's going on in the landscape of WWE and AEW that we really need to talk about. Injuries that have really shifted what both companies and promotions was doing as far as storylines and matches that I think they had laid out. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But if you are a repeat viewer, you already know what to do for me. If this is your first time tuning in and watching the channel, please go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that anytime we drop a video, you'll be the first to know. So we're going to go ahead and kick off this episode with Monday Night Raw and talk about everything that went on there. First of all, first and foremost, we got Cody Rhodes, the face of Monday Night Raw and his short tenure back in the WWE, is now out for 9 months. I think he will be back before then. But let's get into how they kicked off the show. So Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins had the Hell in a Cell match. Really good matchup despite the injury. Cody fought through the pain. Now Cody comes out on Monday Night Raw and he's giving up his farewell speech. He's letting everybody know, hey, I'm hurt, I'm injured, I'm going to have surgery, I'll be gone for a while, the usual. Now, doing this, Seth Rollins make his way down to the ring, and they had a choice. WWE Creative had a choice right now of what to do with Seth Rollins, with their ultimate baby face. Their face of Monday Night Raw going to be gone for months at a time. Seth Rollins, he comes out, he shakes Cody Rhodes' hand. He talks about how his father would be happy and proud of him, of the match and performance he put on at Hell in a Cell, and he leaves. He leaves. If he leaves off on this note, he already have the fans eating out the palm of his hand. It's very easily you could set him up to be the baby face for Monday Night Raw going forward. Now Cody exits the ring. He's at the top of the ramp, waving bye to the fans. You know, his last little hoorah when he's attacked by none other than Seth Rollins with the sledgehammer. Instead of making Seth Rollins the babyface on Monday Night Raw, an easy turn they could have done, especially after shaking hands, showing respect, they decided to give Seth Rollins even more heat than he already had by really putting him over as an ultimate heel, attacking Cody Rhodes even after the sign of respect and everything like that with the sledgehammer. The only thing I would have liked a little bit more to see during this change is for Seth Rollins to actually target the chest of Cody Rhodes a little bit more, really, you know, building towards that heat, really making it look like he's trying to put Cody Rhodes out for a much longer time, a much longer period. That's the only thing I could have a little bit of gripe about. But one thing that we don't see enough or talk about enough is commentary. WWE's commentary during this segment, it absolutely put over Seth Rollins as the heel that he wanted to be. It gave him even more heat. They did a great job. Even Corey Graves, who is typically like your heel commentator, he kind of said, okay, look, I think even Seth has gone too far with this. So they did a great job of really putting over that segment. I don't think enough people really give props to commentary. So I wanted to highlight that part. Now, with Seth Rollins being an ultimate heel, deciding to keep him as a big heel, Cody Rhodes being on the shelf, WWE had to make a call, and that call was to the man himself, John Cena. John Cena will be appearing on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw. In what capacity, we do not know yet. But I have a theory that Seth Rollins will be greeting John Cena on Monday Night Raw for the fact that I'm the ultimate heel. Now I need someone, I need a nemesis. I need someone to go against. And who other better than John Cena? I think John Cena will probably be around for a couple of months, not too long, but long enough. I think Seth Rollins will ultimately go on to win the Money in the Bank, but somehow managed to lose that Money in the Bank briefcase to Cody Rhodes once Cody makes his return, because I believe The Rock is going to win the Royal Rumble if they really want to have The Rock, or if they're able to make The Rock and Roman Reigns happen at WrestleMania. If they are not able to, then at that point in time, you could just have Cody win the Rumble and you'll still get the match you wanted to get at Mania at some point. So I think that's what's going to happen as far as John Cena coming back. I do like what they decided to do with Seth Rollins. I don't think they could have missed either way, because even later in the night, they made another powerful move, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let's go ahead and give you the rundown of everything else that has taken place on Monday Night Raw. We've seen a 24/7 championship defended. Dana Brooke defeated Becky Lynch in a 24/7 championship match. Now, this sounds crazy, but this really just built on top of the feud between Becky Lynch and Asuka. Dana Brooke having a win over somebody the caliber of Becky Lynch is still huge for Dana Brooke, and to retain her championship. There's no way I was going to see Becky Lynch with that 24/7 championship, so I'm glad they found a way to help Dana Brooke be able to be put over, at the same time built upon that Asuka and Becky Lynch feud. We seen Matt Riddle, he defeated The Miz. The Street Profits defeated the Usos, earning themselves a tag team title shot. Veer Mahan defeated Dominic Mysterio via disqualification. Rey Mysterio just had enough of seeing his son getting destroyed. Omos defeated Cedric Alexander. Ezekiel defeated Otis, and Rhea Ripley defeated Doudrop, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss. Now we get to what we want to talk about. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair one-on-one for that Raw Women's Championship. Early in the night, we seen Judgment Day, Edge, Rhea, Damian Priest come out, and they welcomed a new member to the group. That member was none other than Finn Balor. Now, I talked about maybe a month or 2 months ago when Damian Priest was United States Champion and he had that inner demon inside of him. I said, damn, that would be great if somehow they could team up Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and Finn Balor could show him how to control and unleash that demon inside of him when he needed to. But at that time, Finn was a face, Damian was a heel. They're both going after the United States Championship. I said, there's no way you're going to possibly make this happen. So what ended up happening is Finn Balor joins Judgment Day, take over the leadership role. It looked like he's taking over the leadership role as the group all join and beat down Edge, pretty much kicking him out of Judgment Day. What this also says to me is that John Cena is going to only be around for a few months. So we have to build up another baby face for Monday Night Raw while we wait for Cody Rhodes to heal and get better. Who better than Edge, who was a pretty big baby face before he decided to go heel anyway. I think this was another good move. Why? People say Judgment Day was, just getting started. Judgment Day is not over. Judgment Day just has some rearranging. That's all it did. Judgment Day is still there under new leadership Finn Balor. I don't know if they'll be the same as far as promo-wise. I did like Damian Priest in his promo. Finn Balor, it seemed a little forced, I would say. It really just seemed like she's trying to get grasp of things, being a heel and being in this type of fashion. But if Damian Priest takes the lead role as the mic man, I think they'll be okay. Now, with Edge as the babyface, of course, he'll come back. He'll have to take vengeance upon Judgment Day. That feud and that storyline is going to be amazing. That's going to last for a while. I don't know if AJ Styles joins Edge or not. I don't see why he would, only for the fact of because AJ Styles and Edge had a pretty good feud going, building up the whole Judgment Day faction to begin with. So I wouldn't understand that too much. I could see them doing it though. I could see them saying, Edge going to AJ Styles, say, you earned my respect. We went to war together now against each other. Now let's go to war together with each other. I can see AJ Styles confronting Finn Balor and saying, look, what are you doing? We just fought these guys. Why would you go and join them? And that caused a little rift between Finn Balor, Judgment Day, and AJ Styles. And maybe that's where Edge will be able to find himself a place to fit in. But before that, we got to talk about Judgment Day, talk about them not having any gold. The only problem is, guess what? There's only one babyface that's a champion, and that's Bianca Belair. So that leaves Rhea Ripley. Of course, Rhea Ripley goes after the Raw Women's Championship. This was a storyline between these two women who I thought, well, what I thought they was trying to save for a while. But with Naomi and Sasha doing the walkout thing, I believe we were supposed to get Naomi and Bianca Belair the last pay-per-view. Then we was going to get Asuka and Bianca this pay-per-view. And then they was going to give us the Rhea Ripley and the Bianca Belair match a little later in the year. But, of course, they had to speed things up. So now we're going to get Rhea and Bianca Belair. Now, while Edge is sitting back and he's recovering from the beatdown he received, if they do not want to go the AJ Styles route, that's fine. Because Bianca Belair are going to need some people to watch her back. Because at the end of that matchup, not only did Rhea Ripley stare down Bianca Belair, but the rest of Judgment Day came into the ring and pretty much let it be known that Rhea isn't going into this by herself. So that could open up a door for the Street Profits to possibly join forces with Bianca Belair and take on Judgment Day, which I could definitely see happening. Only problem is that they should be focused on winning the tag team championships. If they're not, and they go into Money in the Bank and they lose their matchup because they're so focused on Judgment Day, or maybe Judgment Day cost them the matchup because, you know, they were watching the back or getting in the way of what they ultimately want to do, which is add gold to their stable, that could be an issue. But I could see this being a very entertaining storyline if you did have the Street Profits and Bianca Belair against Judgment Day, because like I said, Damian Priest, he'll bring it home on the microphone, so he's fine. And of course the Street Profits and Bianca Belair, their segments are either hilarious or very entertaining, one way or the other, so I could definitely see them going that route. But that's pretty much everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. Big stories being they decided to keep the heat on Seth Rollins as the heel. Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, finally, I think this is a storyline that we will get that's going to constantly run into. These women are going to constantly bump heads throughout maybe the next 2, 3, 4 years. I can see that happening. I can see it being very entertaining. They're both coming into their zones anyway, so this is going to be good. I'm just waiting to see how it all folds out. Next week will give us some indication on what route they really want to go into. Now, we talked about championships. We talked about Monday Night Raw. Let's go ahead and jump over to SmackDown. We have a new contender for Roman Reigns, and we have a new Intercontinental Champion. I talked about the Intercontinental Championship needing a different face. I like Ricochet. I'm a fan of Ricochet. But I also said Ricochet is not going to be the one to bring prestige back to this title. He's not going to be the one to bring this title up a peg or turn it up a notch. They're going to need somebody else. Gunther is someone I could see that be dominant. I could see him holding that title for months to a year. I could see Gunther as a world champion. So with him having this belt, it means that when it's time for him to drop this belt or lose to whoever he has to lose to, his next step should be World Championship if he doesn't retain his Intercontinental title back, I'll say within a couple of weeks or to a month after he loses it. You got to go push him up to the world title contention, because what that says is, hey, if you are my Intercontinental Champion and you can dominate, you can have a nice run, you are good enough to challenge for or become the world champion. So I think that's where they need to go for sure. Now, what else happened on SmackDown? We got the Money in the Bank qualifier match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Ends in a double count out. No help to anybody there. The Money in the Bank qualifier match between the women's side, Lacey Evans, she defeated Xia Li. Ronda Rousey defeated Chauncey Blackheart. Natalya attacked Ronda Rousey after the matchup. And notably, Ronda did not tap to the sharpshooter. She put it in the sharpshooter submission after the matchup. These two will have a match at Money in the Bank for that women's championship. But if she could not make Ronda tap after a matchup, what in the world makes you think that's going to be enough to make her tap at the pay-per-view? So Natalya is going to definitely get fed up to Ronda Rousey on a silver platter. Now, lastly, we had a match between Matt Riddle and Sami Zayn. If Matt Riddle wins, he gets his title shot. Sami wins, he gets Paul Heyman to go talk to Roman Reigns, possibly finally be able to join the bloodline like he also wants to do. But he came up a little short. Matt Riddle managed to get the victory, and he will earn himself a shot at Roman Reigns. Now, I talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago, how after that attack on Roman Reigns, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle after the match by the bloodline, struck a new chord into Matt Riddle. Randy's going to be on the shelf. Matt Riddle now takes the shine of being an RK Bro, being beside a superstar, He takes that now into a solo role, and he's going to actually go challenge for the world title. That's major. Now, all he has to do is put on a great performance. If he wins or loses, I don't think he's going to beat the head of the table. Roman Reigns, not at this point, not right now. But if he puts on a great performance, he's going to gain even more fans than he already has anyway. That's just plain and obvious. But also at the same time, I think this challenger for Roman Reigns is going to be different from the ones he had before. Matt Riddle, he brings a certain comic relief. He brings a little more fun as a contender. Someone you feel like you can really get behind, like a true underdog. That's Matt Riddle coming into this matchup with Roman Reigns. So I like the look for Matt Riddle. My problem is what happens after Matt Riddle is unsuccessful against Roman Reigns, which I think he will be. With Randy Orton, not here right now, does he go back to Raw? Does he go challenge for the United States title? I'm not sure. Does Randy Orton come back and RK Bro come back and they go back after the Bloodline? Does he make it his mission to try to destroy the Bloodline? I don't know, but I do feel like I will be thoroughly entertained by the combination of a Matt Riddle and a Roman Reigns in a storyline. Let's jump into the fun side of wrestling. That's the AEW side of wrestling. And I will say this right now. I feel like AEW for the past 2 weeks, right? They have clearly been their shows have been having better wrestling matches. They've been giving you better wrestling matches. But I feel like WWE has been giving me a better wrestling show, if that makes sense. I feel like AEW, they'll put matches together where I'm like, okay, this is a great match. I don't understand why they matched them together. I don't understand where they would go from here or anything like that. But WWE will give you entertaining segments. Will give you entertaining storylines. And I feel like that's the major difference in the past 2 weeks with both organizations scrambling right now. 2 major injuries on both sides of the promotions. I felt like AEW just decided to lean on wrestling, which helps them a lot. Now, CM Punk injured. He's out. Had to have injury on that lower leg. They had to have a casino battle royal style and match so they could see who would be challenging Jon Moxley one-on-one, and that person would go on to the Forbidden Door, as we know now, will face Tanahashi to see who will actually be the interim AEW World Champion. Okay, that was a lot. So, my only problem with this Battle Royal, we did not see Hangman Page. He was your last champion. Only thing I would have liked to see in this Battle Royal was Hangman Page actually inside the match. Him and Jon Moxley both being the last 2 inside the match. And they say, okay, since you are the last 2, you two will face each other later on in the night one-on-one to see who will go on to the Forbidden Door. I say that because I felt like Jon Moxley, right? Even though I came in here and said I don't think him and Page moved the needle. As far as being your AEW World Champion, he put on great matches, but I don't think people really tuned in to AEW to see your World Champion Hangman Page, and that felt kind of weird. So I felt like they skipped over him, and Kenny Omega's hurt, so they skipped over him, and they went back to Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley didn't even have to compete in the Battle Royal. He just kind of had it rolled out for him, like, hey, this is your chance. You're going to face the winner of someone who just fought a whole Battle Royal, and you get to be fresh at the end of the night. So it's kind of all but saying we're going to have Jon Moxley move on to face Tanahashi and see who wins, and we represent AEW as World Champion. That's how I felt like that's what they did. It all but confirmed what I said about Hangman Page to me. Now, I did like the fact that Kyle O'Reilly won this tournament this Battle Royal, because Kyle O'Reilly is a great talent. He's a great one-on-one competitor, and I think that he will do well. And not only do I think a match with him and Jon Moxley will be absolutely amazing, but I think he will be amazing as a singles competitor. I know he's Bobby Fish's partner right now, but they don't look like they're going to be holding a tag team title anytime soon. And to be honest, I don't know how long Bobby Fish got. to be honest. I feel like he get a lot of little nagging injuries here and there. So if you're not going to put the title on these guys anytime soon, I would like to see you start pushing Kyle O'Reilly more as a singles competitor, and Bobby Fish for that matter. And they could still team up and wrestle here and there, but these guys don't even have their name in a hat right now for AEW title contention. Now, another piece of, I'll say, Dynamite that I was a little upset about was the way that Wardlow justified not being in the Battle Royal. I didn't like that. Him stating that CM Punk was the real champion. If I'm not going to go in there for a chance to fight the real champion, I don't want it. I don't like that. So he challenges for the TNT title instead with Scorpio Sky. Now, I think we could have got to this in a much better way, which is why I say WWE is a much better wrestling show. Because if we come out, we open up the show, instead of having the Battle Royal, we open up the show with Scorpio Sky, saying, look, now that CM Punk is gone, I'm the only real singles champion. I am the true representation of AEW. I am the man, I am the face, and I have defeated everyone that comes to my path. I have defended my title with honor, blah, do his normal heel stuff that he wants to do. Dan Lambert can easily take that time to big up Ethan Page, and say, look, Ethan Page is going to be in the Battle Royal. We're going to have both champions in our stable. And while they're doing all this talking and yapping, you can have Wardlow come from the parking lot, just pull up, get out the car, beeline it straight to the ring, and then you challenge your TNT champion. That would be great. That would be a great segment to start off the show. Now we got our match between Wardlow and Scorpio Sky for that TNT championship. And I will be the first to say that Wardlow will be the first Triple Crown champion. We'll talk about that new title that AEW added, which I am very excited about because I felt like they needed one for a while now. But we have to talk about just the way they organize things. It was just kind of weird. I think we would have got to that same conclusion, Wardlow getting the TNT title shot, the winner of the Battle Royal, if we would have just set it up in a little better way. That's my only little beefs and tiffs about the Battle Royal, the people who are in it, and the winner. Now, speaking of that new championship in AEW, they have revealed the All-Atlantic Championship, which will be, in my eyes, the real, the only mid-card title for AEW. This will be the title for guys like Daniel Bryan, for guys like Eddie Kingston, guys who feel like they're right there on that world title picture, but instead of just fighting matches just to fight matches, I think we will crown a champion, and that champion will be the next guy to go challenge for the AEW world title. The TNT championship will be a great stepping stone for the younger guys, maybe for the vets who've been here for a while to hold on to it, to bring it a little bit of star power, which it really doesn't need at this point. So I like the addition of this title. I said for a while now that AEW really needs to add a new title because their roster was getting so big. I was thinking maybe the three-man tag team titles because of so many factions, but another single title is absolutely amazing, and we're going to get a tournament to do everything to see who's going to actually be crowned the champion at the end. My pick is Malachi Black. I think he will go on. Looking at everybody that's in the tournament, I think he is actually your best pick to put the title on first. Guys like him, example of people who need to have a title. Well, don't need to have a title, but who should have a title in a promotion like AEW. Guys who I believe that can go on to be world champion at some point, or who will be challenging world champions at some point. So I think that Malachi Black is the right choice to become champion. We also got to see Adam Heyman Page. He defeated David Finlay, son of Fit Finlay, in a one-on-one matchup. And now we have a match set up for next week, which is a little tricky now. It was a three-way ladder match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. The Hardys, the Young Bucks, and Jurassic Express, which would have been an amazing matchup. But I am recording this on a Monday. So we have the unfortunate news of Jeff Hardy being arrested on DUI. I do not know if he will be wrestling in that tag team matchup. I don't think it's a good idea that you have the Hardys wrestling in this triple threat matchup. If I'm AEW, to be honest, This is, I think, his third offense in 10 years. So, same type of offense. I think the focus needs to be on the health and, the betterment of Jeff Hardy right now, and not putting him in a tag team matchup. So I don't know if a team will replace him, which I think they should. I would love to see another tag team jump in there. But if not, I guess they could always just make it a ladder match between the Bucks and Jurassic Express. And I wouldn't mind seeing the Bucks actually have another run at the tag team championship right now. And I want to see Jungle Express going their separate ways, honestly. I think this is the time where Christian Cage will be fed up. You lose the match where Christian Cage has been so successful in. And I think that will start the feud or the rivalry between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy and possibly Luchasaurus. I'm not sure exactly how his role would be in things, but I think Christian's kind of getting fed up with having to baby Jungle Boy every time he takes a loss. So I think that's going to explode pretty soon. Now, in a matchup that we got to talk about, it earned a lot of talk on social media. That is the women title match between Thunder Rosa and Marina Shafir. Marina, she went against Jade, and I'm like, man, this could possibly be someone that can defeat Jade for that TBS championship. Of course, she came up short, and I feel like I have not seen her again on TNT or TBS until now, facing Thunder Rosa. Now, watching this matchup, I thought it was just me. I was like, man, Thunder is a little stiff. That's what I thought. Thunder Rosa is a little bit stiff, or she's a little off. This match is not really going smoothly. So, okay, whatever, fine. Thunder Rosa managed to win the matchup. She retains her title. At the end, Toni Storm comes out and help her because Marina attacks her after the matchup. Now Marina clearly gets put in the heel role. So Toni Storm helps Thunder Rosa. I don't like the fact that Thunder Rosa, did her finisher after the matchup against Marina. It made Thunder, in my eyes, kind of seem a little weak. Like you couldn't finish her in a match with your moveset. You had to use a roll-up. So you did it after the match. After it was kind of a 2-on-1 face-on-heel type situation. Normally, I feel like the faces just runs off the heel. Just get them out the ring or whatever, and then a little stir down, something like that. Now, after the matchup, we've seen Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa stare down each other. Toni hands Rosa the title, so she will probably be the next one challenging for the AEW Women's Championship. But let's go ahead and jump back to Thunder Rosa looking a little stiff inside the ring. I thought it was just me. Then I went on Twitter and I started to read a little bit, and other people was echoing, no, Thunder Rosa is actually selling a lot of Marina moves. So I went back and I started to watch, and I said, that's what it is. That's why I thought she was a little stiff. She is selling some of these moves. And I believe Britt Baker either liked or retweeted that comment, that person that tweeted out. And that makes me believe, like, do people feel like this a lot about Thunder Rosa in the AEW locker room? Because let's face it, Britt Baker and AEW and Thunder Rosa are probably the best two women in the AEW locker room. You could say Serena Deeb. I wouldn't argue you down, but they are definitely two of the top three. We could say that, to be fair. If this is the case, maybe that's why we don't see much big Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa matches. They had a feud going on, but they only wrestled, 2-3 times? One was unsanctioned. So maybe this is why the matchups aren't happening as frequent as we would like to see. Maybe this is a real issue that they have with Thunder Rosa. So now the next matchup with Thunder Rosa, of course, everyone's eyes are going to be glued to the product to make sure she isn't stiffing everybody on the moves. But more importantly, it's time to move into the main event. Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. Really good matchup. Even with Kyle O'Reilly having a battle royal early in the night, still a great wrestling match. Jon Moxley did manage to win. He will go to the Forbidden Door to face Tanahashi to figure out who is going to represent and be the AEW's interim world champion since CM Punk is able to return back from his injury. Now, let's go ahead and jump into Rampage. Rampage kicks off with Jack Hager and Eddie Kingston already in the ring. They gave us exactly what you would think from the two. Eddie Kingston managed to come out on top. this feud with Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston is not going away anytime soon. I think it's not going to end until we get Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho in some type of no DQ or, you know, some type of specialty matchup. I don't think a regular matchup will be enough, will suffice for these two men and the type of feud that they have been building towards. This is one of the most entertaining storylines in AEW right now, and it's just ironic because it doesn't involve any championships. It doesn't involve any of your top guys right now. It's just guys who know how to put together great storylines, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like you need champions who can do that. Because now they make you not only want to watch the product, but they're also invested in a really good storyline that draws you in as well. We got to see Jay Lethal and Singh in a tag team matchup against two pretty much, I guess, jobbers, you would say. Yeah, two jobbers. Singh looked okay. I mean, really didn't get to see him do too much, but he is under great tutelage with Jay Lethal and in Sanjay Dutt as well. These are two guys that, you know, you could really learn from. So I think we will see a little bit more from the Giant later on, but they did manage to pick up the win. We've seen Chris Statlander in Red Velvet. Chris Statlander, she managed to pick up the win. After the match, we had a situation where Anna Jay would come out and try to stop Jade and the baddies from attacking Chris Statlander, which led to Anna Jay pretty much getting attacked, which led to Athena to come out. This feud between Athena and Jade is really picking up. Only problem I've seen is Athena was stopped by referees and officials from getting inside of the ring and actually making contact with Jade and the baddies. I don't understand why you would do that. You could easily have all 6 women brawl and then break up the brawl if you don't want to make anyone look weak, or if you didn't want one to seem more over than the other. That's the other way. I think you could have left it all on an even playing field, still build up towards this matchup between Athena and Jade. Now, in the main event for Rampage, we got to see FTR and Trent Beretta go against Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, Fletcher and Davis. That's the team of Fletcher and Davis. I believe that CM Punk was supposed to be in this matchup, clearly. He had just made that new alliance with FTR. Will Ospreay, Aussie Open, this match was still a really good matchup. This is easily the match of the night on Rampage. I think this was my match of the week. Honestly, we're not counting the Battle Royal, close between Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly as match of the week, to be honest. Really good matchup. Aussie Open and Will Ospreay takes the loss in this matchup. Very predictable, but this is just building up towards the Forbidden Door, which I really hate the name of that pay-per-view because this door has been opened. I watch New Japan guys all the time on AEW. I believe John Moxley defended the title in New Japan, but on AEW, his New Japan title. So I hate that the door's forbidden or whatever. They call it something else. Call it the door's getting kicked down. I don't know. But either way, they're building up towards this pay-per-view, which is a great start. I don't know why Trent Beretta is in the mix. I understand that, they attacked him after the matchup, of course, but damn, could you have picked someone else to, be partnered with FTR? Anybody else? It's just weird because Trent Beretta has his best friends, and they have their own gang and their own crew, and FTR only really need to add one more other person to help make this match what it is. But I think the ties between Trent Beretta and New Japan and just having a connection with a lot of the guys in people in New Japan as far as fans goes, it just made sense. Still a good matchup. Really good matchup. And, the Forbidden Door is going to be a hell of a pay-per-view. Can't deny that. It's going to be a hell of a pay-per-view, but it's like, is it going to be anything different than what we have seen before? I'm interested in the twists and turns that they're going to have. I feel like AEW always keeps something up their sleeve. So, just to be clear, I will be watching the Forbidden Door. I don't care that I've seen a lot of these talents already in AEW, or I have watched these talents at different promotions, but this should be really good. I think that's all of my notes. I'm looking at my notes trying to see what else I have to get to. Yeah, I think that's everything we have to get to. So the landscape of AEW and WWE has been shaken up with all the injuries taking place, but I think both promotions did what they needed to do. WWE turning Edge back to face, which will help. He will be the baby face, the face of Monday Night Raw until Cody Rhodes come back. You made that call. You got John Cena back. He is going to, of course, bring in a whole nother fan base. He's going to usher out that fan base that is diehard John Cena fans. And that helps a lot. And I like what AEW did. Battle Royal. I like the style of the Battle Royal. I like them having the matchup at the end. Even with John Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly. I like the fact that Kyle won because I feel like, it shines light on Kyle O'Reilly. I like that a lot. And Wardlow, he will be your first Triple Crown champion. I don't know if I said that earlier. He's going to win this TNT championship. I know I hated changing hands, but once you get it on Wardlow's hands, he's going to hold that belt for a while. It's going to be hard to defeat that man 2-on-1, 3-on-1, however you want to slice it. So 1-on-1 with that TNT championship, he is going to be a tough guy to defeat. And now with them adding that Mid-Atlantic championship in, it's going to be a lot of guys going after that title. It's going to be a lot of guys going for that title. A lot of younger talents going after that TNT championship. And Wardlow is going to continue his dominant run up until it's time for him to go and take that Mid-Atlantic title. And then eventually he will be your AEW World Champion at some point. Barring that he stays healthy, no injuries or anything like that, he will be your first Triple Crown champion. That was everything that happened on AEW. That was everything that happened on WWE. That's your landscape of wrestling right now. Even with the injuries, these promotions and companies found a way to bounce back, not only make it entertaining, but they also made some very good storylines along the way. So we have to see what's going to happen next week. I want to see what John Cena is going to actually do. Well, that'll be tonight. I want to see what John Cena actually has to say. I want to see if I'm right. Will he be confronted by Seth Rollins? Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the DM. With John Cena coming back, will this make more people watch the product right now? Monday Night Raw, their ratings have been down for the past 2 weeks. We got Cena back. Will this be a bump in the ratings for Monday Night Raw? And also, do you think Rhea Ripley will be the one to dethrone Bianca Belair with Judgment Day behind her? That could be a real possibility. Now we have to go on to AEW. Jon Moxley, AEW World Champion. Of course he will be AEW's World Champion. The match will be amazing with him and Tanahashi. That's hands down. But what do we think will happen with these tag team titles? Do you let Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy go out there, even with Jeff Hardy's new situation? That's the question. What do you think happened with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy if they're going to be inside this tag team matchup? I think this is a way that you get the titles off of Jurassic Express without having to pin Jurassic Express. So let me know what you guys think, man. That about does it all for me for the week. I will get back to you guys next week. I will try to do a midday video like I did last week if I got time, barring what I have to do. If I do drop that video, it will probably be on a Friday morning, because I'll record it on Thursday. So after Monday Night Raw, after Dynamite, if I have time, Thursday night, I will do another video. So we'll have to see. We'll just have to see how the week goes. If not, I'll catch you back here next week, Monday morning, dropping episode 14. But that about does it all for me and this week and everything that's going on in the landscape of wrestling. I'm Cato. I'm signing out. Peace.